You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out. You put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. Hey, that's what it's all about. Come on, Houston. You put your left foot in, you take your left foot out. You put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. But then when you look at that this is the greatest moment that you and I have ever lived, when you look at the Christ consciousness right now and the infinity of God that is willing and able and ready for us to allow ourselves to receive that vibrant energy, that vibration of wellness and wholeness and power and energy. You know, we talk a lot about be the light, and it's very crucial, but where does light come from? Energy. Yes? Energy. So what would happen with your energetic being if you put your whole selves in, you take your whole selves out, you put your whole selves in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Give yourselves a great big hand. How you doing up there? Yeah, that's what it's all about. Absolutely. But you know, the song says to put our whole selves in, and then we turn ourselves around. You know, most people in our culture today, and as a spiritual leader for 23 years, I see it happen with people all the time. Many people hear that and hear life and participate in life by thinking they have to turn themselves around first before they can put their whole selves in. And I'm sure that's not true for any of you, but I'll just talk about it anyway because you can tell your friends, right? Yeah, people are waiting for something in their lives to turn around before, you know, and they'll tell God that in their prayers, and they'll tell the universe that in their prayers. They'll say, well, when I get more money, then I'll go ahead and pursue being a massage therapist. I'll put my whole self in then. Well, you know, when I get myself together more and I've gone to some therapy and I feel like, you know, I can get past looking for love and on the wrong places, you know, then I'm going to put my whole self in and I'm going to, you know, fall in love, and we're just going to be in love and love and love and love. You know, many people, you know, they'll date someone new and they'll just put half of who they are in the relationship. And then they wonder why the other person's only putting a half of who they are in. And many people leave relationships really prematurely because they never really put their whole selves in. Do you relate to that? You know, does that resonate with you, putting your whole self in? What I love is when people tell me, you know, oh, well, you know, when I don't have any more problems, then I'm going to pursue being a minister. And I go, yeah, right. Welcome to your next reincarnation. I mean, really? I mean, being a minister isn't about not having problems, thank you, God, because we are humans in our human suit, right? Aren't we humans in our human suit, proudly? And yes, we have problems. Every one of you are seated there today with something on your mind. Am I correct? But that's not what it's about. It's about doing the hokey pokey, about putting your whole selves in. It's how you walk through your life. It's how you walk through the problems. It's how you walk through the situations that makes the difference. Many of you may not be aware of it, but for the first 13 years of my ministry, I was a religious science minister. The Centers for Spiritual Living is what they're called now. And I thought it was very apropos that on March the 23rd, which is today, 2007, I was actually ordained as a unity minister. Thank you. Thank you for that. But I thought, how appropriate that I would have the grace and the privilege to be able to speak to Unity of Houston, the most noted, leading edge, most innovative unity in the world with the greatest leaders. that are out there. I mean, God just shows up in the most incredible ways. It just never ends, does it? It's just so amazing. But Dr. Ernest Holmes was another great role model, that he really walked his talk. He didn't just stand and lecture and talk at people. I mean, he really walked his talk. And there's a story about him that he would, everywhere he went, he would just walk up to people and go, "Hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes." And they'd turn around to the person they're with. "Are we supposed to know him? You know, is he somebody special? Was he on 60 Minutes? I don't recognize him." And everywhere he would go, it's, "Hi, how are you doing? I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes," just taking that life and that energy and that whole self, you know, everywhere he went. And when he would be at a restaurant, if the food was good, he was known to at times actually going back in the cook place, in the kitchen. That's what it was, the cook place. Well, that's new. Who knows? I'm downloading some other spirit today. Anyway, he would go in the kitchen, he would get the chef, he'd bring the chef out, and he'd say, "Ladies and gentlemen, are you enjoying your food? Let's give a big hand to the chef today and thank him. And hi, I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes." A real energy of life, a presence, a position of life, of speaking and living what he stood for. He was noted as one time going through a famous garden in California, and there was beauty everywhere, just everywhere. And as he was walking along, he comes upon this little plant, and it's all wilted. It's just hovering over, you know, like, "Help me," you know. And so Ernest looks at the plant, and he goes and he finds someone working on the grounds, and he said, "Come with me. I'm Dr. Ernest Holmes." And he brings the guy up, you know, and to the plant, and he said, "Who's in charge here?" And the man said, "Well, you know, up there in that building, that's headquarters, and all of the people are, you know, my boss is up there." He said, well, bring them down. Tell them Dr. Ernest Holmes is here, and get them down. So in a row, here comes all these guys with their suits on and walking, you know, like this in a row. And they come up, and Ernest Holmes says, "Hello, how are you? I want to know what you're going to do about this plant." And they look at him, you know, and they go, and there's all this beauty, and "Excuse me," and he goes, they said, "It's just a little plant." And Dr. Ernest Holmes leans forward towards him, and he said, "It's alive, isn't it? It's alive. It's alive." And so these men, he goes, "I'm Ernest Holmes, and I want to know what you're going to do about it." And they run with their suits on, and they bring the hose, and they bring the fertilizer. You've never seen so many people jumping in to work on one little plant in all your life. And when everybody left, Dr. Holmes walks back, and he goes, "I told you I'd take care of you, didn't I?" Little things, putting your whole self in, knowing that you're always where you're supposed to be, and the moment of where you are, knowing that the people in front of you are the people you're supposed to be with. The people seated beside you are the most important people you may ever meet in your life. Those encounters you see, those moments, those destiny moments where you sit in a space of observing and watching in splendor of what is possible because you're willing to put your whole self in. And you never know where it's going to come, and you never know where it's going to lead. If we could just let all of our excuses and our reasons and our challenges just stay behind us, and we just keep saying, "Okay, brand new day, brand new life, brand new me. Brand new day, brand new life, brand new me." Say it with me. Brand new day, brand new life, brand new me. Oh, didn't that feel good? Everybody breathe. Yeah. This is the day the Lord hath made. We're wanting to rejoice and be glad in it and show our faces that we're rejoicing. This is the day the law is working, and it's working. And even the people that say it isn't working, guess what? It works for them by not working. So there's no way around it. You know, so we just jump in with everything that we have. I had heard of Howard and some other people going to John of God, to Abidjan, Brazil. And it was on my list, my checklist also, to go and just be in the experience. And I was just very clear that I wasn't going with an agenda, that I didn't have any particular thing in mind, but I just wanted to be open and see what would reveal itself to me. And while I was there, it was just amazing. There's few times in my life that I recall being as humbled, because you can feel the prayers and the energy and the vibration of like people that have been coming, millions of people that have been coming over the past 50 years. And you can see just people there and looks of their faces and energy. Some people are there as a last hope. You know, they've been given the diagnosis that they've only got a few months to live, and so they're there. They're looking for their miracle. And some people are looking for their miracle because they've lost their eyesight or their ability to hear and those kind of things. And everybody is just in that grace. It's nothing like it. Definitely, you want to put it on your list. But I was so in awe as I was there, having this immense spiritual experience, while at the same time I was looking at living things around me and the dogs and cats and how they were treated so poorly. I was so shocked. I was just so taken back by it. And the dishonoring of these animals. And I thought, you know, they haven't put it together yet, that there's a reason that God is G-O-D, and D is the mirror, dog, D-O-G is the mirror. Because all of nature is God's mirror, and all living things are part of God's expressions just as we are. So I thought, okay, rather than sit on the sidelines and talk about it, how can I put my whole self in? Well, I started to, you know, connect with the dogs and developing a relationship with them. And there were some I really, talk about evolved dogs, is that they're in that vibration. Can you imagine 24/7 laying around that energy of healing and miracles like walking on water? They're just profound. Well, I promised 9 of them that we would bring them back to America, that we'd bring them to the States, that we would show them a different life. And people have said to me, well, you know, don't you have dogs locally that you can help? I said, yes, we do, but my God is global. And I don't feel you can impact a dog in Brazil without impacting all the animals all over the world. There isn't a way that you can do that, right? And so anyway, we were bringing the dogs back and didn't know how it was going to happen, but through one miracle after another, it worked out that they were coming on crates to America. And my friend and I, we had kind of financed the trip, and so we were talking about, well, this one dog that we loved a lot, I kind of had my eye on her, quite frankly. But anyway, her name was Scruffy. And so we referred to Scruffy, the cute little terrier, and blah, blah. And we said to each other, you know what? Well, will somebody adopt her if her name is Scruffy? So we decided, let's change her name to Lola. You know, her name is Lola. She is a show dog. Everybody all around looking for her family found. Her name is Lola. So anyway, I know, I'm keeping it clean. Okay, so there's Lola, and Lola, her adopted potential parents are coming, and that dog just energetically knew that those were her parents. Because after the flight they had made and everything, they were very attached to us. And she looked over there and she saw her parents walking forward, and that dog ran across the yard to claim her family. And several months passed. And so I was talking to her mother, and I said, you know, Lola's a new name. We just changed her name a couple of months ago. If you want to change it to something else, if you want to change it to anything, I don't think she'll mind, because it's new for her. She said, oh no, Reverend Temple, here's what happened. About a year ago, I'm a school teacher, and I was telling my class that I had a Labrador named Duke, and I was going to get a new dog, and I was going to name the dog Lola. Little things in our lives that we name as a full participant in life, as a full participant, spiritual unity person, as a person that believes in the principles, that says that God is everywhere present, It's amazing what can happen when we're putting our whole selves in, and when we can be in that experience and actually connect the dots of how everything came together in our lives, of how we couldn't have made it happen without God's grace, bringing it all together. And so we ask ourselves, what is it that we're naming? What is it that we're naming? Do we continue to tell God how big our problems are? Or do we tell our problems how big our God is? Do we really realize when we talk about the I am and what we language and what we speak, that what we call in right now via what we tell people over lunch today, what we tell our families, what we claim every day? Because what is it that we say in unity? Our thoughts are prayers. We are always praying. And when you think about it, because we don't just think there's an entity upstairs writing down and taking notes on everything we say and do, right? We believe in this presence and this principle and this power, Father, Mother, God energy. When you think about that, how does the universe make a distinction between when we're praying and when we're just talking like that? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, the universe doesn't go, watch Margaret, she's praying now, she really means this one. Pay attention to Bill, here we go, he's praying, he really wants this. Not all that other stuff he said this morning. I mean, I think about that. What do we name and claim? Do you connect with that idea? It's because it's what we're saying, it's how we are immersed in that presence, it's how we are in that energy and that power. I've been following this author for a while. She wrote How to Speak Unity. She's become a friend of mine. And in this book, I highlight life. Because to me, I'm a life advocate. Because I wasn't always a life advocate. Most of my life, my younger years of my life, I couldn't figure out why I had come here. I felt so different to everyone else. Probably then, I was the only metaphysical person that lived in the state of South Carolina. And may still be the only metaphysical person that lives in the state of South Carolina. But no, that would not be true. But probably in my hometown, that would probably be true. My mother doesn't get on the computer, so she'll forgive me. But I felt so out of place. And I knew this presence that one calls God. I used to walk in nature and make that identification. It was the dogs and the animals that actually told me, connected with me, that I could really believe in love. I felt so different. I felt adopted. I used to say to my mother every year, I am adopted, right? I mean, I am adopted. I asked her that up until I was 45, and then I stopped doing it. Because she said, it's not going to change, Temple, I promise you, you are not adopted. And keep in mind, it's not to change anything away from what I had. What I had developed me into who I can become. It's not about that. And if you're 30 and you still blame your parents, let's get real. You know, it wasn't about that, but I just did not feel that connection. And I went into full-blown alcoholism and smoking cigarettes and, you know, those kind of things. Edwin Gaines said that she used to smoke so much she smoked in the shower. Well, I didn't. Okay, I didn't smoke that much, all right? But I can't believe I ever did it, one. And number two, if I smoked one, it was a carton. That's all I know about that. But it's the grace, see? It's the grace. I know that I was kept alive for a reason. I know I was spared the car accidents for this moment. That's why that happened, is so I could live long enough to speak on behalf of life. The secret of life is not whether we will live or die. Gary Busey said that, as he had a near-death experience on a motorcycle. The secret of life is not to allow yourself to die while you're living. And I was 18 and already dead. I was just part of the walking dead. It's sad to me when I look at young people now and they're just walking around just like no hope. They're not getting modeling in front of them of energy and life and vitality and presence and power. They're not getting enough of us adults that come in every week and are waiting for us to turn around so we can put our whole selves in. They're not getting enough of that energy for them to believe that there is something so grand called God that when they just put themselves into it, that they won't ever believe how their life is going to turn out, the miracles that's going to happen. Isn't that exciting? I mean, is it exciting? I mean, I get excited about it. I get real excited about it, and that's what I had to get. Until I would get excited about my life, I would never believe anybody else could be excited. Until I would get excited about my life, I could not believe that God could be excited about my life. So putting my whole self in to be excited first, then all the other doors started opening up. But in this book, I talk about that we are fascinated in our culture by near-death experiences, but we really ought to be fascinated by near-life experiences. It's like when you leave here today, you say to yourself, I'm going out in the community and I'm going to look for some near-life experiences. I'm going to put my whole self in. I'm going to speak to the person behind me at the grocery line rather than looking at my watch and wondering why we're going so slow. I'm going to connect with other people. When I drive through my community, I'm going to pray for it. I'm going to pray for my community. When I see homes that look like they're dilapidating and that there's poverty, I'm going to pray for those homes. And in 2 or 3 months, I'm just going to ride by and take a peek and see what's changed. You'll be amazed at the miracles because of the energy of being the light that you will be able to bring to situations and circumstances in your life. You can change your community. You can change your state, your world. We are part of that Be the World, right? But it's about us making the change. It's about that stepping into that vibration. You've heard the new Serenity Prayer, right? Is Howard taught you that one? God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that would be me. You want to do that together? It's important. God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know that would be me. Near-life experiences. Don't be the person that lost your animal and you won't ever get another one because you don't want to go through that again. Don't be the person that had a love relationship and you lost it either by choice or death, and you won't have another one because you don't ever want to go through that again. Just the very nature of that decision about those two things, you are consistently going through that again. Energy is not something that can be contained. It cannot be put in a box. It cannot be held back. It's the ability to love brighter and greater and more, just like children do. Children love more and brighter every time with every new experience. They don't go, well, I didn't appreciate the way I was treated last week, and so I'm not going to have fun at Disney. They're like, here we go. Let me at it. They're in awe. Aren't they in awe? They're like, wow, I am so in awe. It's so great watching children. And when I forget, I spend time with children so I can remember. They look and they go, wow. Oh my gosh, you're handsome. Wow, look at you. Oh my. We're going for ice cream. You know? But as we become adults, we get so adult. And God bless us for rushing children to become adult so they can be adult for 85% of the remainder of their life and have a mortgage. But we become adult. We become so serious, like, I know, hi. Did you see the news last night? You know, how you doing? We get so serious. We lose that being in awe as a life advocate of that. Look how even in times when we've taken our lives for granted, that we were still given the gift, that we're still here with the possibility of revealing to the planet our true light of why we came here. Imagine that. Imagine that vibration. I think about the little boy named Billy that was in a class, and the teacher was saying, what do you want to be, class, when you grow up? And one little girl said, I want to be a teacher. Another little boy said, well, I want to be president. The class, yay. And the teacher said, well, Billy, what do you want to be? He said, I want to be possible. I want to be possible. And she said, what? I've never heard that. He said, well, my mom always tells me that I'm impossible. So I want to be possible. I want all of us in unity to be possible. I want new thought, stop just talking about it, and being possible. I want to go through homes and families that are hungry today. I want to end the fact that every 3 seconds in our world, someone dies from hunger. I want to change, be part of the change agent that sees that love is for everything and everyone. No matter who you are, no matter your gender, no matter your orientation, no matter anything. But there is such a multiplication of there's always enough on our planet today. I want us to be possible. And I want us to hold the possibilities for our children and their children and the world. When we think of what we want our children to be, what are we? What are we? Because we are the mirror of God that they see. So I'll close today with one of my favorite songs of all time. Not going to sing it, I'm just clearing that. From The Wiz. If you believe within your heart, you'll know that no one can change the path of life that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right, because the time will come around when you'll say it's yours. Believe that you can go home. In you, you're home. Inside yourself. Believe that you can float on air. Then click your heels 3 times. If you believe, then you'll be there. You are possible. Put your whole selves in. Thank you for having me.